Saludos! So today we're going to do another one of those things that you're just well advised to memorize early on when you're starting to learn Spanish. Esta es la hora, time. Now this is time in the sense of like, what time is it? Is it 3:30? Is it 4 o'clock? Is it noon? That kind of time. Not like once upon a time, not like I did that 2 times, not like I don't have the time. Those are different words. No son iguales. But for la hora, to say like what is the clock time, it's pretty straightforward. We're going to focus on 2 different questions. The main one is ¿qué hora es? Every time I say that, a little part of my brain reminds myself of, ¿qué hora es? The Mad TV video about the soap opera in Spanish for people who only had 1 semester of Spanish in the 3rd grade or whatever it was called. If you haven't seen it, go look for it on YouTube. It's silly, but it's kind of cute for, about 30 seconds. ¿Qué hora es? Simple question. What time is it? It also translates pretty literally, which is surprising. So most of the time when you answer this question, you're going to follow this pattern. You're going to start with the magic words son las, most of the time. And then you'll have a number. So for example, if it's 2 p.m., son las dos. Now, then you might have to add some minutes. So you'll say y, and then you'll give another number for the number of minutes. And then you might want to say de la mañana in the morning, de la tarde in the afternoon, de la noche at night, de la madrugada in the wee hours of the morning. I guess you don't have to. I mean, if you're talking to someone and it's daytime and you're at work and someone says, ¿qué hora es? You look at the clock and say, son las dos. If you have to tell the person that, you work during the day and it's 2 p.m. and not 2 a.m., then already you have problems. But, it's a good, to know how to put that phrase on the end. So 2 p.m. son las dos de la tarde. 3:05 son las 3:05 de la tarde. Again, you don't really need the de la tarde, but son las 3:05. Some of us are liars. If I look at the clock and it's 3:05, I'm just going to say son las 3 because I'm lazy. And I figure, that 5 minutes doesn't count. Let's round down. Son las 3. But let's tell the truth for the purposes of learning how. Son las 3:05. An hour and 5 minutes later, son las 4:10. Still de la tarde. Son las 4:10 de la tarde. 5:15, son las 5:15 de la tarde. Or, if you want, you can say son las 5:15. Be careful with your pronunciation here, cuarto. It's like the English word quart or quarter. The R comes first. It's not the same thing as cuatro, 4. They come from the same Latin root. 4, 1/4. They come from the same root in English. But cuatro is different from cuarto. There's a difference between 5:04, las 5:04, and 5:15, las 5:15. If you're not sure, if you say, I don't know, I think I'm going to mess it up, just use the number. Son las 5:15, 5:15. Son las 6:20, 6:20 de la tarde. Hopefully you see the pattern. It's pretty straightforward. Son las, number, y, number, de la, whatever time of day, if you have to add that. 7:25 p.m., son las 7:25. Maybe by now the sun is down and you'll say de la noche. Maybe it's summer and you're someplace where it's still light out. Son las 7:25 de la tarde. Okay, fine. What I usually tell students when you're doing your homework on the computer or something, after about 7:30, switch from tarde to noche. But in real life, it really does depend on, is the sun still up? Tarde. Is the sun already down? Noche. But still, son las 7:25. That part is the same. 8:30. Son las 8:30. By now, it's probably noche, de la noche. Son las 8:00, if you like, you can say instead media. Son las 8:30. 30 minutes works perfectly well. Son las 8:30, it's 8:30, also works. Now, when we get to 9:35, when we pass the 30-minute mark, things start to get a little weird. In general, I say, oh, you need to know your numbers at least from, 1 to 30 to be able to tell time. And people think, well, what happens if 31 minutes passed? Well, it gets weird. Or not. If you know your numbers up to 60, that's fine. Son las 9:35. It's 9:35 de la noche. Son las 9:35. Everybody but everybody has had digital clocks for like 40 or 50 years. No one is going to be confused if you say it's 9:35. But don't be surprised, especially when doing Spanish homework, if you have to instead say, son las 10:25 de la noche. It is 25 till or before or from 10. It's 25 till 10. Now, in real life, I hear people say it's 5 till, it's 10 till, it's a quarter till. I never hear anybody say it's 25 till. But you know how it is. You may find that one weirdo who says it that way. Or you may be doing, homework in your online Spanish textbook and have to do it that way. Porque no funciona si pones son las 9:35 de la noche, even though maybe it really should. But son las 10:25 is at least hypothetically possible. Notice, of course, that it's not 25 until 9. It's 25 until 10, las 10. So watch out for that. Another possibility, which I hope you will not be forced to know in Spanish 1, but that people will definitely say, instead of son las, they'll use faltan. Now this one, I don't know. Faltan 25 para las 10 de la noche. Maybe. It's certainly possible. It gets more likely as we get closer to the hour. So 10:40, son las 10:40 de la noche. Funciona. Son las 10:40. Funciona muy bien. Son las 11:20. It's 20 till 11. Okay, sure, maybe. Son las 11:20. But remember to go up to the next hour of 11 if you're going to do that. Faltan 20 para las 11. Sí, se puede. Yeah, you can do that. Faltan 20. 20 minutes are missing before we get to 11. Sure, why not? Faltan 20 para las 11 de la noche. Vaya. With this one, 11:45, now it gets more complicated, yet still more complicated. Son las 11:45 de la noche. Fine. It's 11:40 at night. It works. Son las 12:15. It's a quarter. Sorry, it's 15 until 12. Son las 12:15 de la noche. Funciona. Son las 12:15. It's a quarter till 12. Funciona. Son las 12:15. Faltan 15 para las 12. It's 15 till 12. Just a different way of saying it. It works. Faltan 15 para las 12 de la noche. In case the person you're talking to doesn't know that it's night, doesn't know that it's not in fact almost noon. If the person you're talking to is so confused that he confuses lunchtime and midnight, ustedes ya tienen problemas. Or faltan 15 para la medianoche. Now here we're just going to call midnight. 11:45 p.m. It's almost midnight. It's almost tomorrow. So faltan 15 para la medianoche. It works. Oh, I don't think anyone would say falta un cuarto para las 12. Maybe. It's possible. There's millions of people that speak Spanish, so somewhere there's someone saying it for sure, but I don't think it's common, at least. If it's 12 a.m., if it's 12 midnight, you can say son las 12 de la noche, because it is 12 at night. Son las 12 de la noche. You can add son las 12 en punto, on the dot, de la noche. It's exactly 12 at night. Sure, it works. It's fine. You can just say es la medianoche. Why are you saying es la instead of son las? Well, I said they would be the magic words most of the time, but not always. So medianoche is a singular thing, midnight. It is singular and it is feminine, so es la medianoche. Just a phrase that you should memorize and not question too much. Es la medianoche. It's midnight. But you can still perfectly well say son las 12 de la noche. You don't need the en punto, but son las 12 de la noche. Es la medianoche. Igual. 1 a.m. Es la una. Because again, son las is the 11-ish times out of 12 is what you'll say, but it's not always what you'll say. Es la una, if it's 1 o'clock. Now, in this case, es la una de la madrugada. In English, we would say it's 1 in the morning. But we wouldn't say it's 1... we don't have a word really for madrugada. I usually translate it as the wee hours of the morning. But we would usually just say it's 1 a.m. or it's 1 in the morning. Es la una de la madrugada. So they have a word for, the time after midnight until sunrise. In English, we have a word for late afternoon, early night. We call it evening. There's not really a common, word for that in Spanish. You can say anochecer, es el anochecer, but it's not common. It's not something you would use with time also. So 20 minutes later, es la 1:20, still de la madrugada. 1:55 a.m., you can say es la 1:55. 1:55 de la madrugada. It works. You can say son las 2:05 de la madrugada. It's 5 till 2. Makes perfectly good sense. It works. Faltan 5 para las 2. Also works perfectly well. 8:30 a.m. We finally, the sun is up by 8:30. So 8:30 a.m. it's not la madrugada anymore. Son las 8:30 de la mañana. Or, of course, if you prefer, son las 8:30. Son las 8:30 de la mañana. Media, 30. In this case, they mean the same thing. As there's 60 minutes in an hour, so half of that is 30. If it's 12 p.m., you can say son las 12 del día. This is the only one that is not de la something. Día is masculine. And some of you are thinking, why isn't it de el día? Because those two words always combine when you have them together. They always form the obligatory contraction del día. Or you can just say es el mediodía. Just like día is masculine, mediodía is masculine. Just like noche is feminine, medianoche is feminine. So el mediodía is also masculine. Es el mediodía. Scrolling right along, we might have to answer that second question, ¿a qué hora es? And you would think, okay, well, you've just added one more letter at the beginning. It's not going to be that big of a difference, is it? Oh, it might be. It might be. So I hate this question because for many years I taught with a textbook from Vista Higher Learning. And, we spend all of this time learning how to answer, ¿qué hora es? Es la 1 de la madrugada. Son las 12 de la noche. Son las 8:30 de la noche, what have you. And then when you take the test with Vistas, almost all of the questions, like 8 or 9 out of 10 of them are, ¿a qué hora es? And then if you answer son las for any of them, you're wrong. So the difference here is you're going to be asking about un evento, an event or a thing, something that's happening. So, ¿a qué hora es la fiesta? Let's say it starts at 8. La fiesta, you don't have to say. You can leave it out. Especially if someone has just asked you, what time is the party? You don't have to say, the party is at 8. You can say, it's at 8. Es a las 8 de la noche. If the person thinks it's an 8 o'clock in the morning party, then you need to clarify what kind of party it is already. ¿A qué hora es el programa? Maybe you have to stay up late and watch some show that's coming in from, I don't know, Japan. And it comes on at 2 o'clock in the morning. So el programa es a las 2 de la madrugada. Fine. One program, singular, so es. One party, singular, so es. The party is at 8. The program is at 2. You wouldn't say the program are at 2. That doesn't make any sense in English either. ¿A qué hora es el desayuno? So what time is breakfast? After staying up until 2 a.m. to watch this program, El desayuno es a las 9. We're going to sleep in a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit, and have breakfast at 9. El desayuno es a las 9 de la mañana. If you have to clarify to someone that breakfast happens in the morning, again, you may have problems. ¿A qué hora es el almuerzo? El almuerzo es a la una. Now here it's la instead of las because one is singular. 1 o'clock. Not 2 o'clock, not 4 o'clock, not 12 o'clock. La una. Es a la una. Of course it's de la tarde. Pero vaya, what did you expect? You're not going to have lunch at 1 in the morning. You don't necessarily have to have this verb in the question either, depending on the textbook and how difficult the authors and editors have decided to make it. ¿A qué hora es? Could instead be ¿a qué hora termina? What time does something end? ¿A qué hora termina la clase? My students never wanted to know when does the class start. They always want to know when does it end. ¿Cuándo termina? Amor de Dios. La clase termina a las 12 menos 10. Termina is the singular form for ending or finishing. So las 12 menos 10 is 11:50. De la mañana, I should hope. You have a class letting out at 11:50 at night. That's an unpleasant schedule. ¿A qué hora sale el tren? What time does the train leave? If someone's asked you, ¿a qué hora sale el tren? Then you probably don't have to say el tren in the answer, but you can. El tren sale a las 4:25 de la madrugada. Welcome to my life. If I'm going to a morning shift at work, my train leaves at 4:25 before the sun rises in the AM. Es atroz, es horroroso, es espantoso. But you may see other verbs inserted, but the important thing is if you know how to use at a certain time, and you know how to use la una, las 4:25, las 12 menos 10, what have you, you're going to be able to say what time a thing happens. Sale igual. So, hopefully you just need to know the answer to ¿qué hora es for right now, and then when you're standing, I don't know, on the Madrid train platform, dealing, with the schedules, and you ask someone, Perdón, ¿a qué hora sale el tren para Barcelona? The answer will be, easy to understand. Hopefully you'll know your verbs by then. So, hasta luego, que la pasen bien, mucha suerte. Ciao.